Okay, hello everyone. So we will start our today's discussion. What we left in our last class. That in last class we discussed about we complete last week we completed the discussion on random forest station tree, then followed by a random forest, and we just started a discussion about support vector machine. And in between random forest and support vector
Sir, your
machine,
voice is breaking, sir.
voice is breaking. Hello, hello, hello. Am I
Yes, sir, it is okay.
okay?
Yes, sir, okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay. Thank you. So in the last week, we already covered the topics like decision tree classification, random forest, an upgraded version of decision tree, and then we have just initially started the discussion about the support vector machine. And in between the support vector machine and random forest and decision tree, we have also discussed about the various quality measures of the classification results. Okay, like the confusion matrix, then the various measurements like precision, recall, F score, accuracy. How we can do that? How we will do a measures based on some data that we have classified from a given data sets, right? So let's continue with the discussion of support vector machines. Then after completion of this discussion of support vector machine, then we can go for the discussion with our next module or next chapter, you can say, that is clustering, the unsupervised learning. Okay. So today, my main objective is to complete the discussion of support vector machine classification and then show you some of the code snippet. I would also like to show today some codes of computer visions where we can apply machine learning in computer visions. That is very interesting as well. Okay, the codes are very interesting as well. So you will get some real life flavor where we can apply machine learning for our computer vision kind of things. And then if we will have time, then we can go for just initials of clustering or unsupervised learning of our module 4, the last topic of the module 4. Okay, my main objective is to discuss with up to module 4. Module 5 I just leave for you. Okay, because module 5 is nothing but the applications of data mining and machine learning in various research areas. So I will provide you some of the interesting and important research papers in last 5 years, within last 5 years, that they have used machine learning in various applications. So you just go through it and you have learned those things, that what are the various research applications that you can in future in your final year project you can apply those research areas, okay, that can boost up you for your application of machine learning in the final year project. Okay. So module 5 is not very important in syllabus perspective. You will find a very less amount of questions from module 5, and whatever question you will find, that will be a very generous questions or general question you will get. So that is only for your knowledge. You can say that, and what are the various applications of machine learning and data mining in research areas that you should have to know in the module 5. Okay. Okay. Support vector machine. So as I already discussed in the last week about the support vector machine, I discussed the initial properties of the support vector machines. I told that a support vector machine has some beautiful properties like unlike the other classifier, support vector machine is suitable for classification of both linear as well as non-linear data, right? This is the first property I discussed. Second property I discussed, that support vector machine it depends on the features of a hyperplane, or the quality of hyperplane, and it is nothing but a extension or upgraded version of maximal margin classifier. Maximal margin classifier, you can say the very initial part of this kind of margin based classification, and support vector machine is a very new part, or you can say the very well accepted and well modified part of the maximal margin classifier. And it was introduced in the era of 1990s, okay, in close to the 1990s. And support vector machine is mainly suitable for the binary kind of classification, that is the third feature. But the upgraded support vector machine also supports multi-class classification of data. Okay, but mostly it is suitable for the binary classification. And among all the other classifiers, support vector machine in most of the cases will exhibit a very good classification accuracy and other quality measurements. It exhibits a very good quality measurement. Okay, but still it depends on the nature of the data on which you are going to apply your classification procedure, and also it depends on the nature of the attributes. Okay, how many attributes are there? What are the initial pre-processing you have done on those attributes, and how the input data set will look like based on the overall features of the input data set. You will have to choose which classification the thing is that I already discussed about the linear regression in the last class. If you remember, that linear regression is nothing but a very basics of support vector machine, where the maximal margin classifier is working as a straight line. That means the hyperplane is working as a straight line, and the straight line will work as a separator between the two classes of two binary variables. Okay. So linear regression, how to build a straight line, how to form the equation of the straight line, that I already discussed in the last class. I think all of you have remembered it. That by the help of Pearson correlation coefficient R into Sy by Sx, standard deviation of y divided by standard deviation of x. So this kind of formulation I have already discussed and derived in the last class. Okay, how we can build a straight line based on the two different kinds of objects. Okay, or two different kinds of observations. Right. And when the hyperplane, so I already told hyperplane of m dimension is nothing but a hyperplane of m minus 1. So if the hyperplane is working in a m subspace, or you can say the m dimensional subspace, then the dimension of that hyperplane will be m minus 1. That I already told you in the last class. So hyperplane is nothing but a flat affine subspace of dimension in a m dimensional space. And when the hyperplane is working in an m-dimensional space, we can say the dimension of the hyperplane must be m minus 1. So if the hyperplane is working for obviously one-dimensional data, we are not interested about one-dimensional data, right? So we are mostly interested about two-dimensional data, because in real life situation, in practice, in real world applications, most of the data is two-dimensional or more than two-dimensional. Okay, so one-dimensional data is not very useful, and one-dimensional data we can even classify with our bare eyes. Okay, we don't require any classification approach to divide the one-dimensional data. So that's why when the hyper when you are applying the classification approach of a subspace, okay, of m dimension, then you will have to use a m minus 1 dimensional hyperplane to for the classification or for the marginal classifier. Okay, so if m dimension is 2, that means that your observation are actually spreaded or distributed in a two-dimensional space, x1 and x2. Okay, so what will be the dimension of the hyperplane? That should be m minus 1. So that should be 2 minus 1. That means the one dimension, the hyperplane dimension is 1. And when the hyperplane dimension is 1, it simply looks like a straight line. Okay, so that's why in the last class I discussed about the straight line. Okay, how we can create a straight line, because when the hyperplane dimension is 1, then it is looks like a straight line. That means when the hyperplane is applicable to separate the observation which are distributed in a two-dimensional space, okay, then we require a hyperplane with one dimension, and it is equivalent to a straight line. Okay, so I think that concept is clear to you. So if this is a situation where these two observations we have seen here, one is circle kind of observation, another is triangle kind of observation. Okay, so if we will draw a hyperplane of dimension 1, that means a straight line to separate these two observations or two different classes of observation, then we can have a infinite number of, or you can say n number of straight lines we can draw here. Okay, infinite number of straight lines we can draw here. Okay, so our objective, which should be the most useful or suitable straight line among this infinite number of straight lines that we can draw here to separate these two observations, that we need to classify here, that we need to derive here, right? So a hyperplane in the form of straight line, or a hyperplane which has been distributed in a two dimension, can be represented in such an equation, in this form of equation: alpha 0 x0 plus alpha 1 x1. Suppose the two dimension is x0 and x1, so alpha 0 x0 plus alpha 1 x1. Okay, here x can be either x0 x1 or can be x1 x2, which holds a point on the hyperplane that has been shown here. Okay, two dimension x1 x2, which holds a point at the hyperplane. And for m dimensional space, the hyperplane can be represented. This is a two dimensional space, that's why only 2 points are there and 2 constants are there. Alpha 0, alpha 1 are the constants, positive constants that we are associated with each and every point of the hyperplane according to the dimension. And it is working like a hyperplane that is very hard to visualize. Okay, very hard to visualize. Now the thing is that if we apply this concept for m dimensional space, that means the hyperplane with m minus 1 dimension. M dimensional space means hyperplane with m minus 1 dimension. then how this equation will look like? This equation will look like similar to this. I think all of you agree with it, where the last dimension will be alpha m into xm, okay, which is equivalent to 0, okay, for m dimensional hyperplane. Now, suppose x does not satisfy the above equation. Suppose it is not equivalent to 0. It becomes greater than 0. So whatever value you will receive here, that should be greater than equal to 0 or greater than 0 or less than 0. It should not be equal to 0. That should be greater than 0, either greater than 0 or less than 0. Okay, whatever value you will receive. So when the x is, when this equation is greater than 0, that means the x always lies at the different sides of the hyperplane. Suppose we'll consider the x always lies at the top portion of the hyperplane, okay, or top side of the hyperplane when this equation is greater than 0, and when this equation is greater than less than 0, then x lies at the bottom portion of the hyperplane. Okay, we will consider it, or positive portion, negative positive border ঠিক নয়, at the top portion or bottom portion you can say. Okay, so according to this figure, if the straight line, if we consider any one of this straight line, so if the first equation satisfy, then we can say the points or the observations are lies at the top side of the hyperplane or the top position of the hyperplane. And if the second equation will be satisfied, that means less than 0, then we can say the observation or the point should be lie at the bottom side or the bottom portion of the hyperplane. Okay, so by the help of these equations, we can separate these two observation based on this hyperplane, right? Now the thing is that the major challenge in this figure is to find out the suitable margin, or you can say the suitable hyperplane, okay, among this infinite number of hyperplanes, among this infinite number of hyperplanes. So the major challenge is to decide which of the infinite possible separating hyperplanes to use to construct a classifier. Okay, so to identify that, we have to first calculate the perpendicular distance from each training observation to a given separating hyperplane and select the smallest such distance from the observation to the hyperplane, which is known as the margin. This is the margin. This dotted line will represent the margin. How we can draw the margin? We will actually calculate the perpendicular distances, okay, from a straight line, okay, and draw the margin. These dotted lines are called the margin. Okay. Now each training observation, we select the smallest such distance from the observation to the hyperplane is known as the margin. Now this margin can be multiple. Okay, this margin can be multiple. So if we consider any one of these straight line, each and every straight line has this margin. Okay, খুব ভালো করে দেখো আমি কি বলতে চাইছি. If we consider any one of these straight line, the corresponding margin of the straight line will be different or respectively based on the straight line. Suppose if we consider this straight line, then the margin of this straight line will be the nearest point. The nearest point that will be the margin of this straight line. This one. Suppose we'll consider this one. I have to make it dotted line. Okay. Okay. So this is one margin. I am considering this straight line. Please understood. I am considering this straight line. This one, only this one. Okay. And this is the corresponding margin of this straight line because this is the nearest object. So I have drawn the perpendicular distance from this straight line of the nearest object and draw the margin. In the same way, in the other side, that means when the equation is less than 0, in that side, the margin will be this one for this straight line. So in this way, for each and every straight line, we draw these two kind of margin. Do you understand? For each and every straight line, we draw this kind of margin. How many straight line you have calculated here? For each and every straight line, we have to draw this kind of margin, two margins. One margin will represent the top sides nearest object, another margin will represent the bottom side nearest object or nearest observation, whatever we say. So in this way, we have to draw all the margin, and the margin which is the maximum, from the straight line, that straight line will be considered as a optimum straight line among all the other straight lines. বুঝতে পারলে? Clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we'll consider this one, and the margin, which is the maximum. That's why it's called maximal margin classifier. Why it's called maximal margin? The margin of a classifier, or can say the margin of a hyperplane, which consider the maximum margin from its nearest object, is called the. That's why it's called the maximum margin classifier, and we will choose or we will go for that particular hyperplane. So the separating hyperplane for which the margin is the largest, called the maximum margin classifier. Understood? This thing I have already discussed. The separating hyperplane for which the margin is the largest margin or the maximum margin, called the maximum margin hyperplane. Now, suppose you may think that
Hello.
for infinite number of straight lines, how can we calculate the margin for individual straight line? Obviously, that you will not consider, you will not calculate in pen and paper. Okay, the software or the programming language will do the calculation for you. It will choose the maximum margin classifier for you. Okay, this is all the internal part of your code. Because for infinite number of straight line, okay, you have to calculate the margin of its nearest object, perpendicular margin from its nearest object for each and every straight line. And you will have to go for that optimum straight line whose margin from its nearest object is the maximum one or the largest one. Clear? Now, the nearest observation from each class should be well separated from the decision boundary. Now, the thing is that in this case, which one is called decision boundary? I already mentioned it. This straight line, the main straight line is called decision boundary, and these are called margins. Okay, and these two vectors are called support vectors. Why it is support vector? Because these are the most nearest vectors that lies on the margin. That's perpendicular distance from the decision boundary or its corresponding margin position will be evaluated or will be calculated based on this nearest support vector. We are not going for the other or the last support vector. We will go for the nearest one. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the support vectors that lies on the margin and the distance of the support vector, perpendicular distance of support vectors from its corresponding decision boundary. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the support vectors. Now, when the maximum margin is finally decided, then we can classify the test observation based on that margin of separating hyperplane. So if our classifier is ready, that means if we finally decide the maximal margin, so we have decided that this is our final classifier and this is our final decision boundary or hyperplane, whatever you say. So now we can apply this concept for a test observation. Test observation means a new data with unlabeled sample. Okay, that I already discussed several times. What is the test observation or validation of observation or validation data? So test data is applicable based on this chosen or optimum hyperplane, and now test data will be calculated based on this optimum hyperplane, and we will have to decide whether the test data is fallen at the top side of the hyperplane or at the bottom side. If it is fallen at the bottom side of the hyperplane, after doing some calculations, then we can say that test data will be a part of the triangle group or triangle classes, or if it is fallen at the top side of the hyperplane or the margin, then we can call it as a class as it is fallen at the circle class. Okay, so based on these overall concepts, however, this kind of classification is successful, but it has a probability to be overfitted when the M is large. So overfitting is again a problem, just like a decision tree. The overfitting of data is again a problem. I already discussed about the overfitting. If you remember, I told that when you are applying the training observation to train your model, then suppose the observation may give you 100% accuracy or 95% accuracy, a very best accuracy. Okay, but when you will apply the test observation for the same training model, then it will give suppose poor accuracy, suppose 50% accuracy or 40% accuracy. So this is called a situation called overfitting, because when you are trying to train your model, the training observation is overfitted on your training model. Okay, but testing observation is not overfitted. It gives a bad accuracy. It's not fitted at well for the training model. So that's why it is called overfitting. Okay, and this maximal margin classifier is also suffering with the problem of overfitting. Okay, if the M is large, M large means M is a dimension of the space. So J space may apply to subspace or the dimension of the feature space is large, then in that case overfitting is a common problem for maximal margin classifier. So a maximal margin classifier can be formulated by the help of this formula: maximize M, where M is that margin. Okay, এই যে dotted line টা দিলাম, that is M. This dotted line will working like a M. So our main objective is to maximize the M, because we have to calculate the largest M, the largest margin. Okay, and these are the various constants for which this M becomes largest, subject to summation j equal to 1 to M small m. This small m is actually a dimension and this capital M is actually a margin. Please don't mess it up. Alpha j square equal to 1. Okay, and yi of alpha 0 plus alpha 1 xi1 alpha 2 xi2 dot alpha m xim. So this is the equation, if you remember, for m dimension equation. Okay, and this is actually a dependent variable. Y is a dependent variable, I already discussed about it, and x are the independent variable based on which we'll calculate the value of y. Okay, so y of this one must be greater than or equal to m, right? Because maximum margin যেটা আমি draw করব, যে ডেটা ভ্যালুগুলো আমি কনসিডার করব ট্রেন করার জন্য মডেলটাকে, that should be maximum greater than or equal to m. Okay, and the I stands for 1 2 3 dot dot n. So I is actually working like a various dimension. Okay, I equal to 1 means one dimension data, I equal to 2 means two dimension data. In the same way, I equal to n number of data are present, and each and every case that should be greater than or equal to capital M. That should be greater than or equal to capital M. So this is the formulation for maximal margin classifier. Okay, I think it is clear to everyone. So capital M is nothing but a positive number, you can say, or you can say a positive margin or positive distance. All the observations will be on the correct side of the hyperplane and at least a distance M from the hyperplane. So M defines the margin of the hyperplane. So either all observations should be belong to that greater than or equal to that margin. Okay, either from this bottom side or from this top side. Okay, greater than or equal to M means it can be either from the bottom side or from the top side. Okay, in both the cases it is greater than for or equals to M. In both the cases, in circle side case and in triangle side case. So while we are testing or while we are go for a test observation or testing or observation on this particular model, and if the observation falls outside the margin means greater than or equal to যদি হয়, that means on the margin. এই যে greater than equal to এই যে সাইনটা কেন দিয়েছি, why this sign has been given, greater than equal to. If a greater than, that means it is totally outside the margin, either this side or this side. Or equal to means it is purely on the margin or over the margin, একদম মার্জিন উপর এস্টাবলিশ করছে বা লোকেট করছে. Okay, now this is our normal cases where the data, এতক্ষণ যে কেসটা আমি কিন্তু বললাম, the data are linearly separable. The data are linearly separable. This case, the data are linearly separable. Linearly separable means দেখো যেটা তুমি খালি চোখেই কিন্তু তুমি ডিস্টিংগুইশ করতে পারছো that this is a circle class of observation and this is a triangle class of observation. So this is called linearly separable. The data is linear because by the help of linear straight line you can easily separate the data. That's why it's called linearly separable. Clear? Now can anyone tell me what kind of data set it is which is showing in front of you? Is it linearly separable or non-linearly separable? What do you think?
So non-linearly separable.
How
Linear.
how we can telling that thing? It is non-linearly separable.
Sir, two data can't be separated by one linear line, sir.
Very good.
It is a
Because-
complex.
Exactly, very good. Because by the help of one straight line, linear means linear line, linear regression. এই জন্য তোকে linear regression বলা। That's why I have discussed about the linear regression in my previous class. So by the help of a linear line, you are unable to separate this kind of data set. It is not possible. Never ever possible. You have to make a non-linear regression or non-linear line to separate this. You cannot separate these things by a linear line. So in this case of classifier, SVM performs very well. যেটা অন্য ক্লাসিফায়ার গুলো চট করে ভালো পারফর্ম করতে পারে না for the non-linearly separable classification. So SVM performs very well. Okay, so this is two non-separable classes by hyperplane. Now, obviously, we cannot draw a straight line to separate these non-separable classes or non-linearly separable classes. So, maximum margin classifier fails if there is no separating hyperplane exists. Clear? So, এটাই হচ্ছে disadvantage of maximal margin classifier. So, maximum margin classifier is suitable for the linear data set or linearly separable hyperplane. But when the non-linear separable hyperplane comes, it maximum margin classifier fails to do that. Because the optimization problem has no solution with m greater than 0. With no solution with m greater than 0. Because m greater than 0 মানে তুমি এখানে circle classification অথবা triangle classification you will get when m greater than 0. Because this is a margin, m is margin. So when m greater than 0, either you will get a triangle classifier, a triangle observation, or you will get a circle observation. That is pretty much sure that if it is m greater than 0. But if you cannot build an m, তুমি m টা তৈরি করতে পারছো না, that means it has no solution. That means it has no solution with m greater than 0. Then m you cannot build m. Okay, so in that case the maximal margin classifier fails. Okay, and that is possible in this kind of cases where the two separable non-linear classes exist in a hyperplane. And this maximum margin classifier is divided into two types: hard margin classifier and soft margin classifier. Again, I am telling this maximum margin classifier is divided into two types. One is hard margin classifier, another one is soft margin classifier. So till now I have discussed the maximum margin classifier. It is a hard margin classifier. Why it is called hard? Because the line cannot be broken. Okay, the line is always straight. That's why it's called hard. Okay, it is not flexible. The line is not flexible. And obviously, for this kind of hard margin classifier or a straight line, for this data set, it is not suitable. The hard margin classifier fails to do the classification for this kind of data sets. Okay, so for this kind of data sets, we will go for the soft margin classifier, and SVM is nothing but an upgraded version of this soft margin classifier. It's an extension of a soft margin classifier. Is it clear to you? বুঝতে পারলো? Anyone has any doubt?
Yes,
Any
sir.
question?
No.
It's a very important thing. Okay, so soft margin classification. So SVM, support vector machine, is nothing but a modification of the soft margin classifier, which is applicable suitably for this kind of data sets where the data or observation are not linearly separable. That's why the soft means the margin is flexible. The margin is flexible. Now the hard margin classifier I have already discussed. So this is the formula for the hard margin classifier. The general maximal margin classifier formula is equivalent to hard margin classifier formula. Okay. Now soft margin classifier, this is the formula for soft margin classifier. This one. The soft margin classifier is very flexible and it allows some observation to be present either on the incorrect side of the margin or even the hyperplane. And it is called soft as it is violated by some of the training observation. My training observation violation ta soft margin classifier is allowed. Okay, it is not stringent hyperplane. It is not stringent. Okay, it is a very flexible and it's a very flexible approach. And because of this a very flexible approach, it allows some observation to be present on the incorrect side of the margin or even the hyperplane. তার মানে আমি যদি একটা hyperplane draw করি কিছু observation কে এটা incorrect side এ ও allow করবে. So suppose these are real life data sets has been shown to you. Two kinds of data are there. One is red circle and another is red dots and another is blue dots. So it's a binary classification. So if we will draw a support vector classifier, or you can say a soft margin classifier in this way, obviously this data set is also non-linearly separable. Okay, mixing আছে, so non-linear separable. So in that case, if we draw this kind of straight line, the soft margin classifier is allow some of the red dots at the blue sides and some of the blue dots at the red sides. কি বললাম বুঝতে পারছো? The soft margin classifier allows, because it is a flexible classifier, so it allows some of the red dots at the blue sides and some of the blue dots at the red classes. Now you can say that it is a wrong thing. It may be erroneous or it is prone to error. Yes, it's prone to error. But the thing is that's why in the formula it actually considering the error terms. This is the formula m into The rest of the formula is similar to the hard margin classifier. So greater than equal to m into 1 minus epsilon, where epsilon is greater than equal to 0. What is epsilon? Epsilon is nothing but a collection of slack variable, means epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon 3, and so on. And that represents the error generated due to the observation to be on the wrong side of the hyperplane. Okay, so that's why these error terms will be subtracted from the maximum margin 1 minus error terms. Okay, that's why it makes it flexible. And not only that, these error terms can be also handled by a special parameter that is called C. C is called the cost parameter. It's a positive tuning parameter, cost parameter, based on the cost. Okay, you can just while I am showing you the code, you will get that the cost parameter can be make up and down while you are tuning your SVM model. SVM model ke tune kora jay by the help of two parameters. One is cost parameter and another one is gamma parameters. Okay, cost parameter, these two are called hyperparameters. One is cost parameters and another one is gamma parameters. So after building the entire model, you can tune the model of SVM of cost parameters and gamma parameters. Okay, so here gamma parameter is not present. Gamma parameter is present in the mode modification form of the support vectors. Okay, so we can classify a test observation. Suppose a test observation has been given to you, x prime is a test observation, and we can classify it by the help of f of x prime. X prime is the test observation that you need to classify based on this formula of alpha 0 plus alpha 1 x1 prime plus alpha 2 x2 prime and so on. Okay. Now, therefore, the support vector machine classifier was introduced and it is much less prone to overfitting than other methods. And SVM is capable. So, maximum margin classifier is a overfitting, has a overfitting problem, but SVM has actually overcome the problem of overfitting. Comparatively, it can reduce, not overcome fully, but it can reduce the overfitting problem compared to other classifier. And SVM is capable to use for both classification and numeric prediction. দুটো ক্ষেত্রে use করা হয় SVM কে for both classification and numeric prediction. In last class, I already discussed about it. Now, SVM can be used for the classification. In it has several applications, like in gene structure analysis, SVM can be used. এই COVID-19 এ কিন্তু SVM দিয়ে COVID-19 এর gene structure টা or protein structure টা has been analyzed. A lot of research papers we will get where the COVID-19 or that SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 actually is actually the name of the disease. The name of the virus is SARS-CoV-2. Okay, so that SARS-CoV-2, the protein structure or the gene structure has been already analyzed in multiple research papers with the help of SVM or the upgraded SVM version. So SVM has a huge impact or huge application in bioinformatics or genetic engineering. Okay. Apart from this, SVM has a application in text categorization or document classification in natural language processing. While you are using a plagiarism checking, a document classification kind of things. So SVM has a huge application in those cases as well. Okay. Not only that, for detection of earthquakes, combustion of engine failure. Why detection of earthquake? Because SVM is also used for numeric prediction. I already told. So that's why the detection of earthquake or weather prediction for these cases, along with the regression techniques, SVM is also applicable. Okay, clear? Now, this is the final one, final SVM formula, which is very much similar with that soft margin classifier I already told or discussed with you, where epsilon I is the slack variables which represents the errors. Okay, and the thing is that, can anyone tell me, in up to these cases, I have used only a linear observations like xi1, xi2, xim for m number of m dimension. So here in this formula, if you look very carefully in this formula, I have used xij and then summation of j equal to 1 to m alpha j2 xij square. Why I have used this square? Can anyone tell me why I have used this square? Any one of you? Why I have used this square? What this square will represent here?
No idea, sir.
No idea. Okay, very good.
Sir, variance.
No. Let me tell you just one sentence. That square we are using to represent a feature space with a high dimensional feature space or large dimension feature space. এতক্ষণ যে feature space গুলো তোমাকে দেখাচ্ছিলাম, all are very simple 2-dimensional feature space or m dimensional. এবার এটা হচ্ছে তোমার লার্জ ডাইমেনশন। যখন লার্জ ডাইমেনশন হয়ে যাচ্ছে, then we will have to use either quadratic form of the equations or cubic form or any higher order polynomial form of the equation for the prediction with the help of SVM. And এই যে equationটা লিখেছি, it is a quadratic form of equation. Let's check it out this example. Your conception will be clear. Check this example very carefully. Suppose this data set has been given to you. এটা for sake of simplicity তোমাদের বোঝানোর জন্য একদম ছোট একটা data set নেওয়া হয়েছে. It has two classes. One is circle class, another is triangle class. It's very clearly visible. Now, everyone knows it that this is actually a
Is it like
non-linear.
that
Yes, please.
sir, is it like that the folding the plane
Yes,
and
yes,
the
very
two
good.
different types of
Exactly,
okay.
exactly. So this x1
Which
is
type of
actually
function are doing in MATLAB, na, sir?
either quadratic or cubic or polynomial. দেখ অনেক ফাংশন আছে, সেই ফাংশনগুলো দেখিয়ে দেবো। কোডিং এ প্রচুর ফাংশন আছে, so you will have to apply a function for which you will get a good classification accuracy. সেই ফাংশনটা তোমাকে চুজ করতে হবে। বুঝতে পারছো কি বললাম?